Hello, everybody. This is Shecky at High Return Real Estate, and I am here with my amazing business partner, Mr. Jack Gibson. How you doing, Jack?
Doing great.
Dude, this is going to be a great show. I'm very, very excited. We've got a guy on today that's doing some very, very unusual stuff, and he's doing a lot of stuff with land flipping. I know that sounds really, really weird, but this guy is really good at it, makes a lot of money on it. The other reason I'm very excited to speak with him is because he's also an author and he's a fellow podcaster. We were on his show a few weeks ago and had a really, really great time talking to this guy. So listeners, you are in for a really, really great treat, so stay tuned.
Welcome to the High Return Real Estate Show, the podcast for heavy hitters. Two men, one mission. It's time to build your empire.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High Return Real Estate Show. My name is Jeff Schechter, aka Shecky, and I'm here with my business partner, Jack Gibson. And today we have the fantastic pleasure of having a noted author, noted podcaster, and a guy who is really shaking the investment world upside down with some land flipping techniques. I want to introduce you to Mr. Jack Bosch. Hello, Jack.
Hello, Shecky and Jack. Like your name, Jack, particularly.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Okay. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. And we like your accent, too.
I was the only Jack in my generation. So I'm 41, and there was never a Jack within like a decade plus or minus. And now it's just catching on again. So it's kind of weird.
Well, I'm older than you, and my real name is actually not Jack. It was actually chosen for me, but I can talk about that in a second, perhaps.
Awesome.
Well, your name isn't really Jack either.
No, it's not. My legal name is John, so it's
okay. So that's the weirdest thing. I'm from Germany originally, so I can see. I always wondered when they talk about John F. Kennedy and they call him Jack, and it's like, Is that a different person? Because
right.
Just not done in Europe. So it was the most confusing thing in the world for me. So anyway.
So your legal name is not John, I gather.
No, mine is not. My legal name is Joachim. Now try to pronounce that.
No.
Joachim.
That's why nobody, when I came over to this country and I had a job first on and I didn't even know. I just like, hey, I'm Joachim Bosch. And they're like, what? And I was like, and after a while, nobody could pronounce it. So internally, my colleagues came up with Jack. So they referred to me as Jack. And then I heard it. By the time it got to me, it was too late. And everyone referred to me as Jack. It wasn't changeable. So I just adopted the name and now I love it.
Sounds good. So I want to dive in a little bit. I mean, you've done a lot of really cool stuff in the investing side of things. Tell us a little bit about who you are. I don't like reading all the little glossy, intros and all that. So tell us exactly how you got started, some of the, tougher lessons along the way, how you got to where you are today.
For sure. Absolutely. So again, my name is Joachim or Jack Bosch, right? But in the US, you find me as Jack. You don't find the Joachim anywhere. It's really pronounced Joachim, and then it's like on the East Coast, they know how to pronounce it. On the West Coast, they call it Joaquin. I listen to anything that starts with a J and sounds kind of, I was like, did they mean me? So I've gotten used to that. But I am originally from Germany, came from Germany to the US about 23 years ago. And I just for 10 months, literally, for an exchange program, finished my college degree. The university in Germany I went to had an exchange program with an American university. They would give me credit for the classes I take in the US. And they would give me credit for those in Germany. And with that, I would have finished up my German degree, so I didn't have to go back to school in Germany. And at the same time, they gave me an American degree, like an MBA actually. And on top of it, the main reason I did it was to learn better English, because my goal was to not be an entrepreneur. My goal was to do what my parents told me, which is like get a good education, get a good job. And I wanted to go into like the corporate world in Germany, and I realized the corporate world was getting more and more international. I needed to improve my English, and so I said, let me go for a year to the US. Well, little did you know, now it's 22 years have passed. I'm still here, because two things happened. One is I really love the U.S. I really fell in love with the way the people are, the positivism about the U.S., the can-do attitude, the relaxedness of everyone, a lot of people. And then also I fell in love with this young lady. 3 weeks into coming here, a young lady crossed my path, and make a long story short, we're now married 18 years and have a 12-year-old daughter. So obviously that worked out. But she's not from here either. She's the co-founder of our land profit generator program, the co-founder of our land flipping method. We work together, live together, do everything together. And she's not from here either. She's from Honduras, Central America. So we are a couple of oddball immigrants here, live in Phoenix, Arizona. And to make a long story short, we got jobs after college. We worked for a few years. We didn't enjoy it. We didn't like it. Very quickly realized that job thing that I've been working so diligently for so many years towards was not what it was meant, what it was, all that it claimed to be. And I had 2 weeks vacation. I had made $2,500 net a month, which was barely enough to pay for a mortgage and a car payment, and then have groceries, and then have like nothing left. And I worked 60 hours a week, and I just hated it. So after a while, we started looking for something else, dabbled in all kinds of different real estate, failed a bunch of times. But once we found land flipping, things just clicked, because land flipping is like house flipping, only that there's no houses on it. So it's a much simpler process, yet with the same profits.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about how that is. Like, why was that something that worked for you, whereas everything else that didn't work? Is there a certain simplicity to it? Is there, because there's lots of different ways to make money in real estate investing.
Yeah, and they all work. They all work. It's just
why that?
What happened is the other real estate methods at the time did not work for us. And the focus here is on us, not on techniques. The techniques work, but we were not at a level of knowledge, of capability, and of confidence in order to make those things work. Like, we didn't know what it takes to rehab a house. We didn't know if it cost $1,000 or $10,000 to rehab a kitchen or bathroom or roof or a foundation or you name it, right? So we actually got a triplex under contract early on for $45,000 and marked it up only $5,000 and tried to wholesale it, and nobody would buy it because everyone else understood, but we didn't understand that we had miscalculated all the repairs and all this on this thing. It needed way more repairs. So at the end, it wasn't a deal. And luckily we backed out of it. And then plus I was traveling 100%, and I didn't have time to go meet with sellers. I didn't have time to go meet anywhere. We had no money. We couldn't hire anyone. We had no management experience. We had no experience. Even though I had an MBA, it doesn't matter. An MBA is you're highly trained to work as a small wheel in a big wheelhouse of a big corporation. You're not trained to be an entrepreneur. There was actually no entrepreneur class at that time taught either in Germany or in the United States in college. So what happened is we were running up against ceilings of complexity that we couldn't come through. And even now, I mean, if you fast forward now, we have done dozens of house flips. We own over 50, almost 50 free and clear rental properties. We own now almost going next week, we'll be owning over 500 units in apartment complexes. So now this stuff is not simple, not difficult anymore. But back then, we were at a different point in our career. We didn't even understand the language of real estate. I mean, we literally when I heard the word deed, I thought it has to do something with church because they talk to you about good deeds and bad deeds. I didn't know that it was like a document that conveys ownership. Like, what is a 2x4? What is drywall? I mean, literally, we started at that level. So it was just not something. I had no credit. So we couldn't even take a loan on a property to go rehab it ourselves. And we didn't know about hard money lenders and all this kind of stuff. So we went to the next possible things. We went to tax liens, and we tried to make tax liens work, and tax liens and tax deeds world. And we were amazed by that concept of that people give away their properties and in exchange for nothing. They just let them go. And then through that process, stumbling there too, because we bought tax liens and they were redeemed 3 weeks later, and we made $3.82 in interest. And then that wasn't enough, obviously. Then we attended tax deed auctions. We were outbid by everything on all these properties. And so then we realized that, well, if these people don't want their properties anymore, how about we contact them directly? And how about we kind of try to figure out who are those people? What's like a profile of a person that doesn't want their property anymore? And we figured that out, and we started sending out a bunch of letters. And for whatever reason, almost only landowners would call us back. Only landowners would call us back, and they call us back in droves. And all of a sudden, we got our first deal done. We paid $400 for it, and we sold it for $4,000 to the neighbor right next door. It was a buildable lot, an acre lot in a small town in rural Arizona. And we made 10 times our money. And then we made 10 grand on the next deal. And then we made 30 grand on the deal shortly after. And then we bought deals for $300, sold them for $30,000. We bought deals for $1,800, sold them for $6,000. And it's all land. And we realized with land, we don't have to know how much it costs to rehab the kitchen and the bathroom and remedy mold and those things. It's the same or better profits, but without the tentacles that come with it. And only years later, after having done a whole bunch of deals, we have now done 4,000 deals. When the market was crashing, that's when we started applying the money we made more into houses and started buying houses. And that's how we learned then all the things around houses. So houses are cool and they're great. Just wasn't the right method for us at the time.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess what I'm more curious now about the mechanics involved in flipping land. I mean, obviously I get that, you're reaching out to distressed sellers that just have a piece of land. And I guess the beauty of that situation is, for the most part, they're probably all distressed because raw land has nothing on it. There's no opportunity for them to make any cash flow.
Right,
so
exactly. So when you hold on to the land, there's no cash flow on it.
You're just paying taxes.
Not distressed, actually. What we realized after having done like 200 deals, we looked back and we saw that 80% of our properties actually had all their back taxes paid by the time we bought the property. So actually, we realized that we only had found the way into this method, but there was like 80% more, 5 times more deals we could get from people who didn't even owe back taxes, but they're still like grudgingly pay the property taxes every single year. They're like, again, there it is. I don't want to pay it again. Okay, I'll pay it one more year, right? So
yeah.
they did that. So we expanded our focus to all land. And the mechanics are such that that we basically go to a list service or to the county and get a list of properties usually worth between $10,000 and $100,000. That's our sweet spot. Now we now teach this, and a lot of our students are now go above that. We have students right now that have a property worth $500,000 under contract for $130,000.
Wow.
Right? They're going to sell it for $395,000, $350,000, make over $200,000, $250,000 on that deal. That's awesome. But our sweet spot and our bread and butter cookie cutter kind of system that can be literally counted on. You send X letters, you get X responses, make X offers, you get a deal, right? That is the $10,000 to $100,000 properties. So we get a list from either list service or the county, and then we filter it down based on the criteria that we determined, and then we go send them a letter. We split tested, A/B split tested the letter to the nth degree, and our letters get somewhere between a 4 and a 15% response rate, which is
That's really good.
It's really good. Normal response rates are like, what, 1/4%? Half a percent?
Well, we're like between 1/4% and 2%, depending on what you go after and so on. But anything in scale is usually no more than 1 or 1.5%, and often below 1%. Yep. So because we're dealing in something where there's no competition really, because everyone does house flipping. There's very few people do land flipping, yet there's millions of pieces of land that owners held for many years, and they're willing to call us. It's like not everyone is willing to give it up for 5 to 25 cents on the dollar, which is what we pay for it. So we buy only properties that we can buy at the maximum of a quarter of their value, so 25 cents on the dollar, often below that. And then we make offers, we get them accepted, and then we put them out there and we sell them online through a whole bunch of different online platforms, most of which are free. We sell them in 2 ways. Either we sell them for cash as wholesale deals. So funny enough, that first wholesale deal that we wanted to do failed on the house because we didn't know our numbers. But now we do wholesale deals all the time, because when you buy something at 15 cents on the dollar, you go sell it for half price, you make your money 3 times over. And that's a good profit any day of the week. And the second way we sell them is we sell them with seller financing. So we put the property up high to almost market value, but then we allow them to pay us like a 10 or 20% down payment and make monthly payments. And if done right, when you buy cheap enough, it's say if you take a $30,000 property that you buy for $4,000, you can sell it with a $6,000 down payment, a 20% down payment. So you got more as a down payment than you even paid for the property. So it's a true cashless note that you now have that pays you, and it pays you cash flow similar to, in many cases, rental properties.
That's fantastic. So you have you and your wife have developed a really solid training program around this as well, correct?
Yeah, yes, we have. And we have been teaching this for now 11 years. And the funny thing is that there's still no sign of any competition, any major competition anywhere in the country, because if there's 500 people in this country doing this now professionally, but there's 3,007 counties, it means on average, every investor has like 8 counties on their own that they can do stuff in. Isn't that cool?
It's like the Wild West.
Yeah. So Jack, what my question is, why do the people who sell you the land, the original landowner, why are they not listing these more aggressively, or like why are they willing to accept 15% on the dollar when they could capture a big chunk of the dollar, right? Like what's going on there?
That's a very, very good question. The first answer to that, I'll answer it in 2 ways. The first answer is it's like if the properties are lower priced, lower value, it's to them, it's just they're written them off. They just don't want it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to hassle it. They just want to get rid of it. So they just say like, yeah, it's fine. I don't want it. Plus, if they paid more for it, they can actually claim a potentially tax deductible loss. I can get some tax savings from it. But once you get into the higher price ranges, often what happened is they actually tried selling it. But what they do is they go to their neighbor who is already a mediocre realtor, and they ask their neighbor if they could list that property. That neighbor is not trained in selling land, because selling land is a little bit different than selling houses. It's not harder, it's actually simpler, but it's different. So what you do when you have a house listing is you go in, you take a bunch of pictures, you do an open house, and then regular open house, and put it on the MLS, and then people come and buy the house. Well, on land, you can't do an open house. You can't put like a chair on the lawn, right, on the grass, and just sit there wait. There's nothing, and the pictures that they take are the most horrific pictures you'll ever see. Most house realtors, they treat land as like this kind of off to the side thing. So they go take a Google picture from above. They go take a street view picture, or if they make it out there, they'll take a picture of basically a bunch of dirt. Mm-hmm. Then they don't paint the picture, right? They don't describe the property. They don't say what you can do it, what's close by, what's saying. They just say like, hey, this property's for sale, $50,000. It's a great deal. Who is excited right now?
Yeah.
Right? Nobody, right? Nobody's excited unless this is a really hot area, unless this is an infill lot and the builders know it and see it and they buy it right away based on the numbers. But if it's in the outskirts of town where a lot of our deals are in the path of growth, then you gotta explain. We're not selling land is all something I always say. What we're selling is we're painting a dream. So the selling job is really simple, but you have to like the first picture is never the picture of the property. We put like 10 pictures up there. It's picture 7 or 8 or 6 or 7 is the picture of the property. The first picture is like, what's around it? What can you do there? What's the utility situation? What's a comparable situation? So these guys don't know that. So they just put 2 ugly pictures of the property in a 2-liner on there. And then they're wondering why the property doesn't sell. We literally have taken properties that were just expired the listing. Our letter just happened to hit like 3 weeks later arrive at the owner. It's like, yeah, I tried to sell it myself. I couldn't sell it. Or I tried to sell it to the realtor. I couldn't sell it. You can have it for 10 cents on the dollar. Take it. $5,000 for a $50,000 property. You can have it. So we take it. We create our proven listing and we sell it for 60 grand 2 weeks later.
Fantastic. And this completely appeals to me because my business partner knows this. My background is marketing. So
exactly.
I mean, it's really at the end of the day, it's all about good marketing and when you said selling the dream, that's like, yeah, I was already thinking that right before you said that. It's just, it's
That's what you
fantastic.
do. Plus most people, they just want cash. So they say like 50 grand cash. Well, there's not that many people with 50 grand cash. How about if we now buy it for 5, how about we tell them, hey, it's 60 grand, give us 8 grand down, and what's that, less than 15% down payment, and make $600 a month payment or $500 a month payment. Isn't that much more affordable? We just earlier this year bought a property for $5,000 and sold it for $64,000 with a $6,500 down payment and $463 a month payments for the next 20 years. The total profit of that deal, first of all, we are profiting from day one because the down payment is higher than what we paid for the property.
Sure.
But the total profit will be over $111,000 on that deal.
What kind of interest do you charge on the seller finance?
On that deal, I think because they gave us a decent down payment, we dropped the interest to, I believe, somewhere around 10%. But that's the other part. Land is, even banks charge you a higher interest on land. So we typically charge 12.9%. But if they put more down, we can drop the interest rate, because the mind shift that people need to do is that you are now the bank. You can do something you can adjust the terms with them as long as they're legal. You can adjust them. Even like for example, in 2009, we had about 15 to 20% of our loans actually default when the market crashed. We had hundreds of loans, and we still have a lot of them, obviously new ones also. But at that time, we had 15 to 20% default. Well, we were able to rescue most of them because we called them and says like, is it that you don't want the property anymore? Or is it that you can't afford the payment anymore? And they're like, well, we can't afford the payment anymore. It's like, great. How about we restructure the loan? How about we reduce your interest rate, we stretch it out, and we cut your interest rate, you cut your monthly payment in half. And they're like, can you do that? It's like, yes, we are the bank. So you can do things like that, and they can make adjustments, which makes it really fun.
How many of your deals that you sell are on seller finance versus full cash?
All right, so that's a good question. So I want to answer that in 2 ways. Our students often start such, particularly if they're short on cash, that they do only cash sales.
Gotcha.
And that's how we started. We started only cash sales. The first 20 sales were only cash sales. Then we discovered the seller financing method. We didn't even know it existed. Then we stumbled on that because one of our buyers said, can I pay this in installment with a down payment? We're like, ooh, good, let's do that. Why not? So we started doing that. And then we started going to a 60-40 split of cash versus seller financing. And then over time, as we have paid off our debt, and as we paid off our house and our cars and put money on the sidelines and all those things were happening, we started shifting that to a 60-40 the other way. So now actually it's more like an 80-20. We take 80% of our deals that we sell with seller financing because we love the cash flow, and we don't need the cash portions anymore to pay our bills. We have so many other sources of income now. We have 50 rental houses, 500 apartment units. We have things. So we do this just to maximize every deal. Now we look at it from a maximization of profit, and the maximization of profit comes over time through seller financing, because compared to a wholesaling deal, you're really making 3 to 4 times the money. Like if you buy something for $10,000 and you sell it for $30,000, let's say it's worth $50,000, and you sell it for $25,000, you make a $15,000 profit. That's great. But if you sell it for $50,000 with seller financing, you end up collecting $85,000. So here I make $70,000 over time. Here I make 15 very quickly. At the beginning, the 15 are more important because I need the cash.
Right.
Now the $70,000 or $75,000 are more important because they come in over time. They create stability, cash flow stability, and we love that.
So for the newbies, they need the cash so they can buy the next land,
the next deal, and they can pay their groceries. They can get out of debt. And I always recommend when people get started, do a deal, take a little bit, pay down debt, take a little bit, put into savings, take a little bit, and take the rest and reinvest in more deals.
Yep.
Right.
Whereas
that way, you do 10, 20 deals, you're out of debt. You have $50,000, $100,000 in savings on the sideline, and you have enough money to do deals. That's exactly the process we have done. It took us 8 months to reach the point where we could quit our jobs, where we were debt free except for the house, and where we had a year's worth of living expenses piled up on the sidelines.
So then when you don't need cash anymore, now you can go for the bigger seller finance deals because you're building wealth.
Exactly right.
You're building passive,
wealth.
more passive streams of income with these notes. Yeah.
And then once that is the case, now we have all this cash flow coming in that you actually don't even need to live on anymore. Now we started removing that over, and that was about 2008, 2009. We started investing that into improved property. That's when we got into the houses, started buying houses, and built generational wealth. Because now these houses, they're free and clear, or even if their mortgage is being paid down very aggressively. And so now they're like 6 figures income again and again and again for the rest of my life. And it's continuously growing because as this churns, this is our cash machine, as this churns more cash and cash flow, we can move more and more over. That's why we now even upgrade it. And that's why we now do syndications of large apartment complexes, 100 units, 150 units, closing next week on 158 units, that we move those funds over, that we then literally hold on for the rest of our lives. And our daughter will very likely inherit a very nice mid 9-figure empire at that point. So if we could just continue a few more years like that.
Fantastic. Did what you describe, I'm looking at your bio, and there's a term on here called the forever cash financial philosophy.
Right.
Did you somehow just describe that, or can we dive into that a little bit deeper? What do you mean by that?
Basically, that's what I just described. What I described is that I even wrote a book about it. It's on Amazon. It's sold out because it's out of print. But there's still a place you can get it called forevercashbook.net. Forevercashbook.net. You can get the book. But it's an Amazon bestseller and in multiple categories. And the philosophy is exactly that. I don't believe in Dave Ramsey's save yourself to debt freeness by eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I'm with you.
Yeah, we're both with you. Yeah.
Is a very valuable strategy if you're addicted to debt. Yeah. So I'm not dissing him. He does a very valuable service to humanity by telling people to not go deep into debt up to here.
Yep.
But it's not a strategy that at the end, if you save yourself to a millionaire, you got to be a Scrooge. Basically, you're going to be a peanut butter jelly millionaire that doesn't enjoy anything in life. That's not my philosophy. I'm a proponent of an expansion philosophy. Learn how to make more money is the first step. Learn how to create that cash machine, as we call it, that you can use to build up the income, get out of debt, build the savings, do those things, and then the money is not being used to burn it on a Lambo or burn it on a Ferrari. But instead, that money then should be used to reinvest, to produce fruit and labor, basically the golden goose concept. Like, get yourself as many golden geese as you can get so you can have the eggs and you don't have to slaughter the goose. What the traditional financial advising industry is trying to tell you is like, fatten up the goose and then slaughter the goose, and hopefully the meat will last until you die. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm in the favor of like build 100 golden geese that lay an golden egg every day, and you have so many eggs that you can't even do enough. There's so much money you don't even know what to do with, basically, at the end of the day. And of course you can stop that at any time that you are satisfied. Right? We keep going because we realize that the more we make, the more we can help others.
Yeah.
We support charities in Honduras, we support charities here, and those kind of things. So we realized my unique skill and my wife's unique skill, we do this 100% together, is we're good at getting deals done and making money and things like that. So now I'm never going to run an orphanage in Honduras or anywhere else, but we can make the money to support those. And I'm not going to ever sit on the sideline just looking like drinking margaritas and becoming an alcoholic or something like that, right? So now I'm just gonna keep doing this. So I'm going to doing this, but in a way that it helps others.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. So you're to simplify what you just said, it appears to me that you're teaching basically principles of how to generate more and more cash over and above what you're making now, and then you're taking that cash and using that to invest in other performing assets.
Like with you guys, like people can use a cash machine, make a ton of money, and then buy a whole bunch of your turnkey houses, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's just a turnkey house is just another performing asset. I mean, a piece of your syndicated apartment
For example,
complex is another performing asset. I get it. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So,
And what most people do is they just work in one thing that barely spits out enough money for them to get ahead in life, and so they need to add something to it. Now, if somebody already makes $500,000 in a high-performing medical practice, great. They don't need to do anything. They just need to make sure they have their expenses managed, and then they have as much as possible from that they can pull out to the side and invest with guys like you, right? So but most people are not there. Most people are in that thing. Most people need to add something part-time. Like I had to add it part-time. I couldn't afford to quit my job because my job was tied to a work visa. And so we figured this out while we still had jobs, and helped have that business help us get free from a job, and then put the pedal to the metal and then built it into the thing it is today.
it's a fantastic entrepreneurial story, Jack. I love it. And it's interesting to me because, the fact that you said that, you're from Germany and your wife is from Honduras, I'm often puzzled by, immigrants that come here to the United States. Like I'm born in the US, I'm born on US soil, as is my business partner. And there's such a small percentage of Americans born on US soil that get this. We've all, like you said, we've all been kind of programmed to do what your parents did, go out, get a good education, get a good job. That's how you're going to get ahead in the world. And, since the internet sort of took over everything, obviously that model has been kind of turned upside down. And there's more and more people starting to realize that that's not really the answer. However, it's taking a really, really long time for that programming to fade because it's generational. Right. And what I'm often puzzled by is, why is it that people that are not born on US soil, that come to the US soil, they automatically get it the moment they show up? I don't understand.
Well, I have a theory about that.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, because
I'm curious too.
My theory is it's multifold, but I'll try to do it as quick as possible. First of all, when you come over here, a lot of people have experienced a lot of hardships by coming here or before coming here, or that what actually moved them to come over here is the generational thing. Back when the Italian immigration was in the US, it's because they were starving. With the Irish, they were starving. Like the English were starving. And so, but the move over here was not an easy move here. It was a big emotional hardship. People died on the way. So once they come over here, it's like a brand new start. And any kind of little hurdle that derails somebody who is already here and already comfortable is not going to derail them. They have experienced much more hardship than that in the past. So to then give up, it's not even an option. The other thing is often they're being looked at as the crazy guy going over and leaving the country. Yeah. So there's an aspect of, I'm going to show them in it. They want to prove it to the people that they left behind, that they did indeed make it, and that they come back and they can come back with a Mercedes-Benz or whatever it is. And it's the same thing. Like when Germany, for example, in the 1950s opened the doors to immigration, or 1960s after World War II, and a lot of people from Turkey came. They worked their butts off, and they started having stores and things like that. And then once they retired, they bought a Mercedes and drove back to Turkey just to basically show everyone, hey, I made it here. I got the Mercedes and got the thing. So the third thing though is something else, and that is that when you come over from when you pulled out of one environment into another environment that is different, like we kind of look alike, but I'm from a different culture and where things are done differently. So when I came to the United States, and it's probably the same for every immigrant, you see things are different, and you see you see opportunity much more, because what you see things that worked well in your home country that are missing here, and that's an opportunity to start a business. Right?
It's a great insight. Great insight. Love it.
So when I came here, it was I found stuff that I'd never seen. It's oh my God, why don't we have, and the other way around, why don't we have this over there? So I was many times tempted to start a business back in Europe again with stuff that I found here. And I decided not to do that because I'm here. But many things I also saw, oh my God, I can't believe America doesn't have that. And then And then shortly after, I saw somebody started a company and provided that, and probably had the same insight. So you see the gaps because you're new to the environment. Everything is new to you. So in that combination of things that plus you have a fresh start. Like one of the biggest things that pulls people back is like they're being comfortable in an environment that you're used to, and you breaking out is going to get you criticism from those around you. But if you literally go over an ocean, you're an ocean away from the criticism. You can start, you can have a new name, like in my case, right? Like you can get a new name, you can get started with everything, and you just leave everything behind. You can start fresh and just power through and build something and other people, they almost like have too much tied to themselves that makes it more, that makes the life too comfortable. And the worst place in life to be is in comfort, because nothing grows there.
Yeah, that's fantastic insights. I've asked that question.
All of these pieces.
Yeah, and I've asked that question a couple times on a couple different episodes and never really got as great an answer as what you just gave. So I think it's great to have your perspective as an immigrant too. It's fantastic. So we got to take one quick pause because this is the spot where Nicole jumps on and tells us about the home run of the week.
This is Nicole, Director of Investor Relations at High Return Real Estate. This week's property is a Medford Avenue duplex with needed some simple TLC. We updated utilities in both units and freshened up the interior right before both units leased up, all while earning a very attractive 13.5% ROI. If you'd like to see more on this property and you want the full investor package, please email me at homerun@highreturnrealestate.com. That's homerun@highreturnrealestate.com. Talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. And we're back with my partner, Jack Gibson, and our illustrious guest, Jack Bosch. And so just to wrap up a little bit, Jack, I mean, the favorite question that we like to ask everybody, and I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit, is what is the question that we didn't ask you that we should have asked?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that.
Or is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't bring up in this conversation?
Oh, you just gave them the easy way out. Yeah.
No, I think you guys asked pretty much all the questions. If there's anything I didn't talk about is, I kind of talked about it at the beginning when you asked me why does this work for us and this not. And I think the thing is, if I want to reiterate something along those lines, is that most people get excited by something without knowing themselves first. So if you get excited because your neighbor does something, it doesn't mean it's the right thing for you to do too, right? So you want to look at how are you wired? Like we designed our business such that, because even though I'm like loud and fast talking and everything, actually my favorite way to spend my day is on my computer doing emails and not talking to anyone. So we decided, and my wife is introverted. I'm extra introverted, but I appear extroverted, but I'm perhaps not as much as I thought I am. But my wife is definitely an introvert. And so we like to be at home, work together, talk to each other, but that's it. So we designed the business that we can send out letters, that we can make offers in writing, that we can perhaps do one phone call to the seller once he accepted it, that we can have call centers take our phone calls. That is a completely kind of virtual business that I don't have to talk to a ton of people. I don't have to sit in somebody's living room and convince them of anything. So as a result, this is us. So this doesn't mean that it's the perfect way for somebody else to build their business, right? So what people why people fail is because they get excited about something, but halfway through they fail because what they have to do, the actual steps, go against their nature.
Yeah, that's good.
And when you realize that, then you'll fail. So therefore, I'm a big proponent of knowing yourself, knowing what is like your tendencies, what do you enjoy doing, what task are you enjoy doing, and then jump on investment strategy that actually embraces that, because then your success chances are 10 times higher.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice.
I'm glad we asked him that question.
Yeah, because you and I are going to have a little chat right after this.
Yeah, for sure. I think that really sums up for, like in my other company, just to give an analogy, there's this group that just shot up in the nutrition business that I'm in by posting this, incredible selfies of themselves on social media and Instagram, right? They built these huge followings, and they're all like super, extremely good looking. And so there was a group that tried to kind of emulate that because they saw their success, and they realized within a pretty short time, some longer, that it just wasn't like authentic to them. Just exactly what you're saying. It wasn't their style. It just wasn't going to work. So they were trying to emulate their neighbor, right? Or somebody down in Miami, Florida, that it just wasn't congruent. So that's so true. Like, you got to figure out like what is authentically going to be something that you're going to enjoy on a daily basis.
In our industry of teaching this land profit generator method, there's people in the real estate industry that attract all the 19-year-olds people, and they drive the Lambo and their thing and stuff like that. And it's like, I would feel so silly driving a Lambo. Not that it's not a beautiful car, but it's not me.
Yeah.
Right? It's not me. If I have to go out to some kind of a party every day to take so much of selfies, no, that's like, that's not what I want to do. So we designed even that part of our business. We attract a completely different customer profile that wants to do this than other people. And that's just fine with me, because I'm not going to be somebody else just to attract people.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, you have a podcast too, just like us. And, we feel the same way. And when Jack and I started our company, I just said, like, there's a lot of gurus in the real estate business and teaching stuff. And, there's a difference between being an educator and being a guru. And I just told Jack flat out, because I had come from the digital marketing world and actually worked for a guru for a while. And I have zero interest in being a guru. I'm happy to teach people what I know, and as is Jack, and we're happy to lead by example, but I don't want to be something that I'm not, and
that's a great insight, and brings for much more peace in life and much more calmness and yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
we're actually more overtime than what I thought we were going to take here. And it's been fantastic. How do people find you? What's the best URL for them to go to?
All right. So the best way, if they want to know about our actual investment methods, I'm going to, if it's okay, give you two different places.
Of course.
One is called www.landprofitfun.com. Fun, like having fun. So no D. So it's FUN, landprofitfun.com. But also, people tell me like, Jack, this sounds all good what you're telling me, but it sounds too good to be true. So one thing, I want to invite everyone to go also to a Facebook group. We have a closed Facebook group, but it's free. You have to apply. We approve you, then you're in. That's called Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group. And in that group, most of our students are hanging out there, helping each other, succeeding. You see success stories every single day, not mine, because if I tell you, don't believe me anyway. It's our students sharing their own successes, helping each other with their challenges. It's an absolutely, in my opinion, one of the best and most active communities on Facebook, and everyone is welcome to join them, to just check out what we're doing there. And perhaps the third place is obviously my podcast. It's the Forever Cash Live Real Estate Podcast. Forever Cash Live Real Estate Podcast.
And then the other one you gave me was forevercashbook.net. If people want to get your book.
If somebody wants to read the book, this is not about the actual land flipping technique. This is a book about our wealth philosophy.
Fantastic. So I'll make sure that all those links get into the show notes. And man, I just want to say thanks for what you brought today. I mean, you definitely brought your A game, and it's great to hear your insights, especially about the perspective of an immigrant and work ethic and all that. And thanks for teaching us about, a method that obviously a lot of people haven't considered. I'm admittedly on a personal level extremely intrigued by the land flipping. When I look at what we do, to go and acquire a property and go through this unbelievable amount of rehab and have it pass a rigorous third-party inspection, and then have it pass a quality control inspection by our property management team. Like the amount of hoops that we've got to jump through just to get a property ready to sell to an investor is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. I mean, we love our business and we love our investors, but the stuff that happens behind the scenes is a lot of work.
We spent an hour on the call with there were 10 people for an hour debating, trying to solve how to get utilities on more effectively. That's just one little minor part of the gargantuan task list that we have.
Yeah.
To get a property across the finish line and performing.
So like we have a great service. Obviously, we're handling all that crap for the investors so that they don't have to handle it, and
right.
there's a lot of value there. But then we're handling all the crap.
Right.
And it's a difficult business. So the land is extremely intriguing to me because I don't even need a shovel. I mean, I need some good marketing skills, and I have that already.
You don't even have to go visit it because Google Maps, Google Earth, Google Street View can do everything for you.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
GIS websites, geographical information websites, in a combination. If you send somebody out there, we send like a company like wegolook.com for $100-$150. They can go out, take pictures, and I haven't looked at any properties that we bought or sold for the last 12 years.
Fantastic. Love it. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for your time and expertise and for sharing. And hopefully we'll stay in touch.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks,
All
Jack. Appreciate it.